What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout Spot where you already know it's Real Talk Sports Talk. Live from my man cave, it's your boy Johnny, and let's talk boxing because this weekend it went down in Saudi Arabia. We have ourselves a new undisputed heavyweight champion, the first time in 25 years, and it's Alexander Usyk from Ukraine in a spectacular performance against Tyson Fury. And now that we have an undisputed champion, like, what is the landscape of heavyweight boxing now? What's next? What are we going to see in the future? But first and foremost, I have a guest, and I thought it would be only fitting to bring out one of my boys who knows his heavyweight boxing. In fact, he goes by the heavyweight champ. He's one of the co-hosts of the weekly podcast, the Four Corners Boxing Podcast, every Wednesday night. And without further ado, I want to bring out my boy, Fight Night Mo, a.k.a. the heavyweight champion. What's good, my brother? Welcome to the
My
Hangout.
brother, salute. Shout out to the Hangout Spot. I appreciate you, King, for the invitation. And it's your boy, Fight Night Mo, Four Corners Boxing, 15 rounds of boxing. Tune in every Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And let's do what it do.
Got it. Let's go for it, man. Let's cook, man. Let me tell you something. For my viewers, you guys got to check out the podcast because watching these guys, you got Mo there, you got the Maniac, you got X, you got Uno. These guys are, it's like watching boxing with your boys, and that's what really, really drew me into your podcast. It felt like back in the days when I used to do that in my mom's house, watching people boys there. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you coming on, and I thought it was only fitting because this weekend it went down.
Yes, sir. It definitely did.
Fight. I knew it was going to be a good fight, but it definitely lived up to the hype. Now, I will be the first one to tell you that I picked Fury to win this fight. And the reason why is because I thought he would use his size, his reach. I also thought that he was going to come out a different fighter compared to the guy that we saw against Ngannou. And for the most part, he did. In fact, in the middle part of that fight, he was touching up Usyk, man. He was hitting him to the body. He was tagging him with some uppercuts. I actually thought that there was a chance that he would stop Usyk the way things were going. And then all of a sudden, a vicious left hook. He bloodied his nose. And to me, Mo, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, it kind of changed the entire outlook of the rest of the fight. Your boy Usyk just turned it up a notch. And the rest is history, man. So tell me, man, were you surprised with what went down on Saturday?
Honestly, first and foremost, let me start off. In the words of my brother Maniac, man, oh man. Listen,
Shout out to
I was not surprised. Actually, me and X, the panel was split last week. Maniac and Uno picked Fury. Me and X picked Usyk. And I went with Usyk, and a lot of people said, "Where are you going with this?" I said, "Look, he's hungry. This guy's been training nonstop. He's been focused. Yes, he's a smaller guy, but you got to understand, he knows what it takes to be undisputed. He's done it at the cruiserweight level, and now he's looking to do it at the heavyweight level. And there's been things going on with him. If you studied him and his demeanor, he was real calm during the storm. He watched and studied everything that Fury was doing. I don't know if you saw during the open media workout, he stood and watched Fury do his workout in the rafters, like Sting from WCW, like just watching him. And I'm like, oh man, this is scary. Fury better get right, because even though Usyk is 20 times better than Ngannou, Fury took Ngannou for a joke, and he got clipped and was looking up at the ceiling.
Right.
So everything that I expected in the fight happened. I said, if Usyk keeps his distance, if he closed the distance and don't give Fury the advantage with his long reach, he'll win the fight. If he applies the pressure off the gate, he'll win the fight. If he's not scared to sit there and throw punches, he'll win the fight and go out on his shield. Those things he did, and it got him the victory.
I mean, you called it, man. I just want to touch on something with the whole focus thing, man, because I'm not really one to make a big deal out of face-offs, but I saw something in that face-off in that final press conference. Well, not to when Tyson Fury wasn't even looking him straight in the eye. I mean, he was looking at the crowd, but Usyk was just locked in on Fury. And right there,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know about this. I mean, I'm with Fury, but I'm like, I don't know. I took some.
Toss up.
Right. And remember, this fight was supposed to happen in the early part of the year,
Yeah.
and canceled because of the cut. So this is Usyk just waiting for his moment, and he impressed the hell out of me. Listen, going into this fight, I knew what type of skill he brought to the table. I mean, that's not a secret. He's one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. We're actually going to talk about that in a second.
Right.
But again, man, I mean, when you got the size of a Fury and the reach and the boxing ability, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people on social media, a lot of my followers, they were writing him off because of how he looked against Ngannou, and that's fair. But I knew this would be different. What really impressed me, like you said, was the fact that he was making Fury fight backwards. Like he was the bigger guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Fury was doing really good in the middle rounds. Like I said, he was touching this dude up to the body. He was landing some. He hurt. I think he hurt Usyk a couple of times. One of them with an uppercut.
Couple. Yeah. Yeah. The uppercut. He got stumbled with an uppercut for sure.
Right. And boy, but like I said, I mean, they talk about Fury's ability to be able to recoup. I mean, I give Usyk a lot of credit. He's getting hit by a much bigger and a natural heavyweight. What do you think about that round 9 when Fury was on skates, man? Like literally, I think if there was no ropes, he would have landed like on the Sheik, on Turkey Allah Sheik's lap, on the
One
side
of
of the dude.
one of my boys said this, and I had to laugh because it was pretty much close to true. They said, "Look, y'all four corners, and he got touched up and landed in all four corners of the ring because he was just like wobbling all over. He looked like a tree during a hurricane, and just swinging. That's how Fury was looking, and it was like, man, thank God he's a 7 footer. He should thank God for his height." Because if he was a smaller guy, oh man, it would have been bad. He was able to hold on to the outside rope on one of them and just clinch for dear life. But if you watch the punches in slow mo, his eyes were gone. And that's the first thing they tell you about a fighter. When
Great
he's
point.
gone, when his eyes roll back and he's dazed, he just looked like a deer in headlights. That's an indication to stop it. I was 50-50. I would have liked him to stop the fight, the ref. I thought he could have. But then again, we wouldn't have got those extra gritty rounds later on in the fight. So it was like it could have happened, but I'm kind of glad it didn't happen because we got to really see a great championship fight through the rest of the remaining rounds. So, and shout out to Fury. He definitely is a warrior with taking shots. We learned that when he fought Wilder. But yeah, that's why I say even though it's heavyweight boxing, it takes one punch, and Usyk showed that. In that ninth round, it just took that one punch to change the game of the fight, and that was it.
Facts. And I'm like you. I thought for a second there the ref was gonna wave it off, and I'm like, no, because I just wanted to see. Yeah, I wanted to see what happens the next round because you're right. I mean, Fury has the ability to be able to recover, and he did.
Yeah,
I mean, he fought valiantly the last couple rounds. After that, I thought for sure the next round he'd be finished, but
me too.
fight.
Me too.
He finished the fight on his feet. It was a close fight. I have no problem with the decision. I thought Usyk won that fight. There were a lot of people that are debating, but in my opinion, they got the decision right. Even though I was going against Usyk, I'm not an Usyk hater at all. I appreciate his talent, but what do you think happens next? You heard Fury say in the ring that he wanted the immediate rematch in October, but again, we all know how things roll, right? And
Yeah.
after the next day, things happen to change. Do you think that there will be a rematch? Do you think there should be a rematch? And if there isn't, what happens next?
I think there should be a rematch because if we got this in the first one, and I predicted this, we predicted this too. We said If this fight is not a dud, because we've had some fights that's been undisputed that have been goose eggs
Right.
in 2023. Um, if this fight is not one of those and it's an entertaining, good fight, I could see a rematch, possibly, if not a trilogy. I could see them trying to run it back 3 times just because of the names and the suspense between the caliber fighters. I want to see a rematch. I think it should happen. And from listening to what Usyk said, he's a man of his word. He's going to run that fight back to Tyson Fury because he just wants to be the greatest in the world and he wants to continue proving that. So I don't think anything of him taking back on his word, him being a man of his word and being a guy, a proud native of Ukraine, they stand on their word. So I think it's going to happen again. They're aiming for October. I think Frank Warren is going to make it happen. Your Excellency is going to make it happen again, and I'm looking forward to the fall, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree. The fight was too close for them not to do it again.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, what if Usyk doesn't, if they don't do the rematch, then what's next for Usyk? Because realistically, I mean, Mo, I got to keep it real. I really don't see anybody in the division right now that could beat him. I mean, we'll open that up in a second.
mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people. I was listening to some stuff and watching some stuff on social media the day after the fight. Now people were saying that, oh man, maybe Usyk should retire. Nah, I don't think he should retire.
No.
No way, and as far as Fury is concerned, man, go back, get that rematch, see if you could win that second one. And you're right, that'll set up a nice trilogy, which could definitely happen. But again, if there's no rematch, I mean, you tell me, who do you think besides Fury can give Usyk the business right now?
The business. That's a very tough terminology
There you go.
because of
Who do you
the
think is
guy that
who do you think could be a threat to possibly beat him?
who I think could put up a good fight. I
Okay,
think
worded
a,
that way.
a person who will put up a good fight. He's been on a rampage himself. Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
Anthony Joshua is the only heavyweight besides Tyson Fury that would put up a good fight against Alexander Usyk. And because what we've been watching in Joshua's last couple of fights, Joshua is not there to play with his food. He's in kill mode. Like he said in his interview, I go in the doghouse, I'm on the leash. When it's time to let me off, I go in there and I go to work. And a guy like that, he knows what it takes. And if we're being honest, you look at the history, Usyk beat him.
Twice.
Usyk twice.
So
So,
that's interesting that you say that you prefer to see a third one, and this time you think Joshua could take him out.
but for the mark, like, see, in the words of my good old show Martin, the brawl for it all. When he fought Tommy Hearns, when they fought the charity belt fight,
That was a
this
huge
is for all the marbles.
match. Yep.
So you know what episode I'm talking about. So this is the brawl for it all. This is the creme de la creme. So the way that Joshua was in that time of his career, fighting Usyk, to fighting now, I don't think it's going to be the same type of Joshua. He's learned from his mistakes. He knows what he needs to do to go in there and get a victory. Now, the question is, you know what you need to do. You practiced it. You've studied it. Now, going in there on the fight night is different. And on that caliber of stage, that big, undisputed title, can he pull it off?
Very interesting take. I like it. But I'm going to throw another name out at you. He's been on quite a bit of a roll as well. Joseph Parker. What do you think about that?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to be honest. That's a good fight, but not for undisputed.
Okay.
Because Joseph hasn't done enough to jump that line over Joshua to get up there. He's beaten a Wilder, yes. He's beaten Zhang, yes. But he hasn't fought Fury. You know, he hasn't fought. Um, he hasn't fought Dubois. He hasn't fought Filip Hadjovic. So
Mhm.
those are three names right there in the heavyweight division that if you want to get to that Usyk fight, fight one of those three guys. And then if you win and dominate in fashion, then have your team make that call. Because now you put yourself up there with the elites, the creme de la creme. Is Parker a bad heavyweight? Absolutely not. I think he's a good heavyweight. But I don't think for his resume yet, he's at that level where he can skip the lunch line over Joshua for undisputed. Not
That-
yet.
That's fair. No, that's fair. You bring up a good point. I was just thinking along the lines of riding the hot hand, so to speak, right? Because he has had a couple of good victories, especially one over Wilder. I didn't see him winning that fight, and he did. And he was very impressive in that fight.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
where does Usyk stand right now on the pound for pound list, in your opinion?
I had to sit down and think about this, and I had to look at who's the top five in the world, right? And I had to look at resumes, and I said, okay, you got no particular order. You got Bud Crawford, you got Alex, you got Usyk, you got Anal Inoue, and you got um Canelo Alvarez.
No, right? Mhm.
Right. These are the top four right now throughout the world that you can just put in any order. But when it's all said and done, you gotta put Usyk at number one because he beat the man that beat the man that beat the man. And he did it in the shortest amount of fights and the shortest amount of time. Usyk only has 20 fights, 20 pro fights, and he's conquered two divisions undisputed, cruiserweight and heavyweight. So we really think about that. We're gonna break down these numbers right now, Johnny. He won undisputed with 10 fights in cruiserweight, 10 fights heavyweight. That's crazy.
That's a good call out. That's a good
That's
call.
crazy.
It is. It's.
That's insane. That's video game status.
Listen, you a pastor right now. You preaching right now, my man. Church. Now, listen, I agree, man. I thought about it, and I'm like, I respect Bud, but to me, the inactivity. It's hard for me to put you at number one when you're not fighting.
I
In
agree.
a way, a monster. I mean, he,
Active.
yeah, exactly. And he's not only beating people, he's mowing right through them. So in the lower weight class,
He's demolishing.
yeah, there is a question in the lower weight classes. But man, the way Usyk has ran through the cruiserweight division and now through the heavyweight division, and we're talking about a dude that most people will call a blown up cruiserweight, not a true heavyweight. That was the
Yeah.
talk into this fight. I mean, I even said it. It's hard for me to consider him a full blown heavyweight until this fight.
Right.
230. He looked very good, filled out. He looked strong, obviously. So I think the whole narrative we're calling him a blown up cruiserweight, that's done. I'm not going to
And
say it.
one more thing we got to throw in there, Johnny, because I forgot to mention Olympic champion.
Great point.
Olympic champion added to his resume.
Yeah,
So
no, absolutely.
he knows what it is.
I don't think anybody can go wrong by putting him at number one. To me, it's either him or Inoue right now. And
Yeah.
based on what he did, I say Usyk right now is number one. Absolutely, man. But listen, what do you think about the outlook of the heavyweight division now? Because again, I grew up in an era where I'm going to say there was no other era other than that era when it came to heavyweight boxing. But I know times are different. I get that, right? So
I'm
I'm not
from
going
that era. So
to right. So we agree, right? There's some opportunity, or there has been some opportunity in the last few years, but we got some really good young talent. Like what do you see? What's the outlook? Like who are these young lions that you see that are up and coming that are eventually going to take over the heavyweight division?
well, I'm glad that you asked that question because a lot of people say the heavyweight division. I've had people say the heavyweight division is a dead division. And I would have to disagree. It's not a dead division. It's just not as active have some of these other divisions have been currently right now. But the heavyweight division has been resurrected in the last 2 to 3 years. And this weekend definitely put the stamp on it with the undisputed division, the undisputed championship that we just recently had. Three youngsters that I like that are in the heavyweight division um, are the following. One, Jared, the real big baby Anderson,
Okay.
stands at 6'4". He's got a 78.5-inch reach, 24 years old, out of Toledo, Ohio. He's got an 88% knockout rate. His record is 17-0 with 15 knockouts. He's fighting with Top Rank. He's a big heavyweight over there. The next great African American heavyweight, as they're listing him as. Another heavyweight that I keep an eye on and I'm watching, and I like him, Daniel Dubois, 20-0, 20 wins, 2 losses, 19 KOs by victory. He lost his 2 losses he got was by knockout. He's an orthodox fighter, 95% knockout rate, 26 years of age. He looks older than what he is. He's 6'5", got a 70-inch reach.
He's a big boy.
He's actually, if people remember, he's the last person that Alexander Usyk fought.
Right.
And hit him with a body shot, and they said it was a low blow.
Right, right.
Now, if that was a little higher, could have changed the game.
I thought it was right on the button, man. I don't know. It was right in the middle to me, man.
It was right there.
Right.
I thought it was on the button. I thought it was there too. Unfortunately, the ref didn't think so because Usyk was down for a good bit of time for that, and we could have had we probably might not even had this undisputed fight if the boy would have won.
Yeah, excellent point.
And he's from Greenwich, London. He's from the UK. Right. And the last guy is a very interesting guy. We just saw him this past weekend. He fought your guy, fighting off a Top Rank, Richard Torres Jr. 10-0, 10 knockouts, 100% knockout rate, 24 years of age, 6'2", 76-inch reach, and he's a southpaw fighter from Tulare, California. So he's up and coming. He's a beast. He don't play with his food.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he's also a silver medalist, right?
He's also a United States gold Olympian, silver medalist. He fought on the U.S. boxing team, and it was actually a couple of them on that team he fought with. It was him. It was Keyshawn Davis, and I'm forgetting a couple of more people that it was on there. And I think it was also Shakur Stevenson, and he was on that Olympic team. So it's those are my 3 young heavyweights to look out for, to watch out for. They definitely making buzz. And I also have an honorable mention as well to watch out for. This young gentleman, he came on our show, Zach Spiller. He's 5-0 from Houston, Texas, and he's got some pop. He's definitely a big boy. He's in the right division, and he in there, and he's handling business. So those are some guys to look out for.
That's a very impressive list. Let's start with Jared Big Baby. I like him too. I think for heavyweight, he also has really good boxing ability because he spars with Shakur. And
yes.
those, which is kind of crazy to think, right? I do like him. The one thing that I question about him is his desire. Does he really want to be a champion? Does he, because you see in some of his interviews where it's more like, well, I'm just going to be here and so it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I just that part of what he says, I guess somewhat I can understand it. These guys want to make bank and they want to take care of their families and they want to retire with all their faculties and not being all screwed up in the head. But you saying this right now in your career where you haven't really taken any part, you haven't really fought real big competition. Like his best win was against Charles Martin. Granted, that was a step up fight for
That
him.
was a tough fight.
But it
Yeah,
was a fight that he could not finish. And I'm not knocking him for that. I mean, Charles Martin is a tough dude to stop. I want Top Rank to take the bib off. Let
yeah.
this kid eat. It's about that time. So I like him. I just want to see him step up the competition, and I'd love to see him one day say that I want to be one of the best heavyweights, not that I want to be one of the richest and I want to retire.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I couldn't have said it any better. I said that a while ago. I've been saying that. I am still saying that. I would like him to be challenged. I think it's time for him to get off of the bit, like the training wheels. Get off the training wheels and ride the two wheeler now.
That's
Start
it.
popping some wheelies too. Like,
Maybe
you know what I mean? Like, go out there and fight some of the better name heavyweights that are out there. Because that's
it's
the only way we're gonna see if he's ready for that creme de la creme.
absolutely it's time. Get down, James Brown. It's time to rock. Andy Dubois, 6'5". I like Dubois. I do. And you brought up a good point. I mean, had not been for that questionable shot, he would have definitely beaten Usyk because you could tell it hurt him. He's got a tough fight coming up on June 1st against Philip
Yes,
Herkovich. That's going to be interesting. So that's going to tell me a lot about Dubois, especially coming off this loss. So that's one to watch. That's going to be a sneaky good card too on
that's
June.
definitely gonna be a good one, and that's the 5-on-5,
That's
right?
5 on 5. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
5-on-5.
I believe that's
Ooh, man,
gonna be
I,
fine.
I love that card. I love those cards.
Yes, I love the concept of that card. And then last but not least, Richard Torres. You got that right. I mean, the kid is explosive. He beat my boy Brandon Moore. Shout out to my boy Brandon Moore from Lakeland, Winter Haven Boxing, representing Polk County. Listen, these things happen. This is
Yeah,
boxing. He fought two guys, young guys, are not afraid to put their O on the line. 10 fights, 9 fights, 14 fights in. I mean, that's props. Fight
absolutely. Shout out to him.
Yeah, and I give Torres props. 10-0, 10 knockouts. He's a southpaw. He's going to be a problem, but again, he's 24 years old. It's about that time to start stepping it up a notch.
Him too.
That's the only thing about Top Rank. Like they really, really like to milk the young part of their fighter's career, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I think, and one guy I would also throw in there. He's not a young guy, so it doesn't fit the conversation that we're having. Or the question is that kid Caballo that beat Frank Sanchez this weekend, man. Wow, what a performance.
Yeah. That that he took his soul away with the body shot.
I mean, this he's not even a kid. He's 31 years old. He's from Germany, but he's 25-0, 17 knockouts. But he's relentless. He's one to watch, man. I mean, y'all got to talk about him a little bit on Wednesday.
Listen, when you get those, I say this. I tell people this, like, he's not a guy really too known here in the States, right?
Right.
He's really known across seas. Those are the scarier fighters. When you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a guy that you probably get a lot of promotion about, a lot of buzz, a lot of media internationally, but then they sign a fight, it's like, listen, what you did in the last fight, don't take this guy lightly, regardless of the record, regardless of who he fought in the last 3, 4 fights, because it's a gladiator sport and it's kill to be killed. Don't mean to say it like that because we've been having that in boxing, but that's the fact. It's a very dangerous sport. Don't go in there taking these guys lightly because they're gonna come in there and they're gonna try to knock your wig off. And a guy like that, I just think that he's dangerous. And I think that Sanchez, he's up in age. And I think now you guys can definitely put him on. He's a gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper in the heavyweight division.
He has one loss though.
Listen, man, he's a gatekeeper now. He's them legs was looking.
He didn't
He,
look good.
He
Yeah.
didn't look good, and he's seasoned. That's the thing. Like he's had some fights, and it's like, okay, does he continue on with elite fighters, or are y'all gonna just bring him up for guys that need more work, like Jared Anderson
Mhm.
or Richie Torres? Are you guys gonna keep him in that mix to see can he fight the more hungrier and healthier lions in the division? That's question to be seen.
Yeah, I think that could very well be the case. To be honest, he looked old overnight, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be trouble when he walked in with a knee brace. I'm like, oh man, what's going on here? Plus, he didn't really
Oh,
look in the best of shape. If he had, I don't know, something wasn't right with Frank,
it
man.
was
Maybe
off. It was off.
I don't know, had COVID. I don't know.
And, and like you said, the knee brace. I saw that. I'm like, oh man, he got the knee brace on. He got the Patrick Ewing knees right now. Shout out to Patrick Ewing, but come on, we know when Pat had them knee braces on, you knew it was gonna be a rough night.
I hear that, but listen, at the end of the day, though, I truly think, and I think you'll agree, I think the heavyweight division is going to be okay. I think
Yeah,
it's in my hands. We got some good young talent coming up. It's just a question of getting these guys to up the competition and then eventually fight each other. I mean, that's what it's all about, and that's what we suffer as fight fans, right? Because we got to wait for the big fights when realistically, like I said, you got these two young guys that are going at it undefeated, in the teens, with victory. So much props. I think the heavyweight division is in great hands. Listen, man, I had a blast chopping it up with the heavyweight champion today, but I'm gonna open it up, man. Where can my viewers find you, man?
man. Listen, shout out first of all, shout out to Johnny, aka the Hangout Spot. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do so right away. Tell a friend, get your mama, your babysitter, your abuela, get the mailman, get the Uber Eats driver, get everybody to subscribe to his page right away. But you can find me at fight_night_mo. That's my Instagram. You can also follow the Four Corners Instagram page, which is the number 4 OUR Corners Boxing, just like it says here on the shirt. And follow us also on YouTube, Four Corners Boxing, the number 4 OUR. Follow us on our YouTube channel and come and support and come see what we do every Wednesday night. Look, we just do it for the people, man. This is what we do.
Listen, man, you guys are family. You know the deal, and you are always welcome back to the Hangout Spot. I appreciate the kind words, but for my viewers, make sure y'all check out my boys at Four Corners Boxing every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. And for my viewers, if you're new to watching, please subscribe. This is how we do it up here at the Hangout Spot. Lots of cool stuff in the next coming weeks, so make sure you're along for the ride. But as always, I appreciate the love.
My brother, salute.
Thank you for coming aboard. This is your boy Johnny from the Hangout Spot, and I will talk to everybody soon.